All right, this is No Excuses with Michael DiLeonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. Got my brother with me today.
How's it going, guys?
Mikey
Good to be
Jr.
here with
It's
you.
good to be here.
Pleasure.
So we're streaming out of a new location. We are in New Jersey right now. We planned a special event where we are with our Patreon members. So we scheduled an event where anyone from New Jersey, from Pennsylvania, from New York City, or any of the surrounding area, we invited everybody. We're having dinner together. We're drinking wine together. We even got cigars. People brought a friend of ours, a friend of the channel. His name is Peter. Pete, I won't say his last name. He didn't give me permission. He brought wine for the whole table. So
delicious wine at that.
Very good wine. Thank you. And
Thank you.
So I just want to say very quickly, I want to do a toast for all of our Patreon members that came. I want to show, at least want to show we're all having dinner and we're in a nice restaurant. So, hey, all you Patreons, I don't want to show no one's face without permission. I don't have time to take a poll, so everybody look that way. I was going to flash you guys real quick. You don't care? Okay, well, here we go.
There you go.
This here is all of our. We got friends here from Patreon. Everyone say hello. So we're all having dinner together. We're drinking wine together. Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you. Say hi. Yeah. Sorry. All right. So just want to thank all of our Patreon members for being here. We wanted to Michael, this was Michael's idea. I can't take credit for it. He wanted to get everybody together. So our goal was to start meeting people and talking to people in person. So I was a little nervous about this, but it all turned out pretty well. It turned out pretty well.
Bunch of good people.
Yeah, so I got to meet some of our some people in person. So I'm pretty proud of this moment. The restaurant owner gave us the place. Very nice guy. Gave us internet access. Let us take the whole half side of his restaurant out so we can do this show. So
do we have permission to give him a shout out?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yep.
Grana Pizzeria, Route 34, Mattawa, New Jersey. Delicious food. Come check it out. And when you come and tell them we sent you.
So we'll go from there. But I will say this event was
nice. It's good feeling.
We found out how it probably was being under Michael when he was captain in the family. We're his soldiers.
Right? What were we saying? Everybody probably standing at attention and nervous.
Me and him went absolutely crazy yesterday trying to get all this stuff worked out. So.
I got to give you most of the credit. You did this. You did it all. So I got to give credit where credit.
Thank you.
You made it happen. You made it happen fast.
So, thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you, everyone. Yep. Ready for a question? First question, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. So one of the things I saw in the comment section, one of the common things that we see a lot is that, or we hear people debate about, is Junior's position in the family as when his dad went away. A lot was thrown on Junior. It's kind of debated out there. Some people say no one respected him. Some people say he was respected. It's just a constantly debated thing. He doesn't talk about it. No one talks about it. You were there. So I guess my first question I will open up with is when Junior stepped into power, how was that received within the family?
Yeah, they showed up. That kind of respect. A lot of them showed up for who and what he was. And everybody knew in the family that he was running, even though we had a panel. So even though with the panel, they still know who was the ultimate deciding voice. He was the decision-making capacity guy in the family. So he had a panel, and then it was bring it to him. So after a little bit of time, going out to the Ravenite, which was stopped after a while. I told him, John, we got to stop this Ravenite stuff, He had a different position, but then he thought about it, and then that was stopped going there. The exposure was the thing for a lot of guys. They were tired of going out to Ravenite, the Berg, and everywhere else they had to show up in mass. So it took Junior a while, I guess, to see that. because you think same things were going on with these old timers as we showed in that last picture with Jimmy Brown and Joe Butch. These guys, they didn't want to be summoned by him. They came for the respect of his position. So when he started out, everybody just not going to say everybody. Well, whoever did like him surfacely, after a while they started resenting that they had to show up again at clubs and in meetings, especially going out there to the Bergen. Even his own guys, his closest guys, would gripe at times about that. So it was I'm not to say work in progress for him, because when you make a little mistake in that life, sometimes it carries a little bit more. I give you an example. The Colombo family had a war going on, and near the Bergen there was another club. I think it was 98th Street. They used to call Uncle Richie's Club, and a lot of the younger guys used to hang out in it. And these were like his brother Peter's friends, his Richie's people. There was a mixture of people that hung out in this club. It was very nice. John liked the place. He used to go to a fireplace. Can't hear me?
No, you're good.
Yeah. He would have people meet him there. So one night I pulled up. I'm a little late, and I get there. It was the winter. I walk in the club looking for Junior, and it's packed. And he's got all these old timers. He's got Old Scorpio, Little Vic. They're waiting for with a couple other guys that they were traveling with. He's got Joe Watts, Joe Crow, Roman, a whole bunch of other captains, and a club full of kids watching wrestling, the fake wrestling. As soon as I walk in, Jackie D'Amico's there. There's a whole bunch of people. Like I said, the place is packed. I walk in, Joe Watts comes over to me. His veins are popping out of every part of his forehead, everywhere else, his neck. He goes, "Where the fuck is he? These guys waiting in this fucking place with these guys. They're watching wrestling and they're rooting like like it's real. Like you're rooting for the guy, like it's real. Go fight it." Like Jackie come outside. We go outside. Where is he? She says he's next door working out. Yeah, house he would work out in the gym. Nobody was allowed there except for his guys. His no wise guys, really. The guys around him. So I go there and I go next door and I bang it on the door. And the guy Michael comes over and he opens the door. Hey, hello and all that. He's got techno music blasted, which I like as a kid. But he's got a red bandana on his head. He goes, "Hey, come on down." So I walk down there, and now, it's a sense of urgency for me right now. I said, "John, what the fuck you doing?" "What do you mean?" I said, "You got a whole fucking club. Joe Corey's there. Joe Watts is flipping out. Everybody's there. You got to come next door. What are you doing?" He said, "Don't wait. Don't worry about it." "No, brother. You got to get there." "All right, I'll be there." And he got to do it. And then he came in. These are the things that really started to make people bristle. Now, you got a guy like Vic, Joey Scopa, and those guys. They're at war right now. They're in our club. So it was pretty bad optics. At the time. Again, this is not the knock Junior, but this is his growing pain that he didn't get it. He wasn't getting it at the time. He got his father summoning everybody there, or requesting to be there, and then taking your time like I took my time getting hit today. Okay.
Do you think that in many ways though he was like kind of unfairly thrusted into this position? I mean, even though he was the boss's son, he could have been utilized in a strong way, but it could have put somebody else into those kind of positions. So you think that in many ways he was maybe set up with not the this preparedness that.
Well, I have a question.
Go ahead.
How old was he at the time?
Well, he's born in 64. This is 91, 92.
So that would be
Early 30s?
Less, 28.
Yeah. So take that into account. How many 20-year-olds?
You can't take that into account. You're dealing with a serious organization here. This isn't, Mr. Rogers, welcome to the neighborhood show.
But think about that age, 28 years old. How many guys are ready for something like that at that age? Think of an average 28-year-old today.
That's today. Go back in time in the early 20s in the teams. Those guys were under 30, most of them.
Bosses?
Oh, yeah.
Joe Bonanno was in his 20s. Yeah,
Was he
young,
really?
He was the youngest boss I think
See, I didn't know that.
ever in history.
20s, that's young. You know, in your 20s, sometimes your mind's not fully there.
Well, look, it was the way he went about it that was the problem. He thought that because of the Gotti name was there, that everybody's going to show up. Like another thing, he would go to sit downs. This is not Bash John Jr., but I'm just telling you just the little nuances that people are starting to perceive him. He would go to sit down with another family, and he said he would say his father that was away, the chief. And Jackie told me one day, Michael, you got to stop telling him to stop saying the chief. They got their own chief. You know, and he didn't mean it that way. When I spoke to him about it, he didn't mean it that way. But he said, I'm talking about for us. But the way you're talking is like John is the leader of everybody. His word's going to be gospel. You know, that's the way it was interpreted. Jackie and Pete never would have said that if it wasn't so. I think Pete was at that meeting also, one of those meetings. So, you know, for his age, you know, at that time, he tried. Don't forget, he was supposed to stay in the background. He wasn't supposed to be up front. His father bristled when he heard that he was up front all the time, especially the meeting over Borriello getting killed. He was not happy. And his father didn't want to expose him to the foxes out there, that he's a viable force, and sitting down and putting himself up front making enemies. Of course, you can make enemies quicker. I'll give you another one. We had a list going around, and Carl Magnello was on the list. And I just give you a Jimmy Brown devious setup, old school shot. We go to a wedding. West Side guys were there. Mickey Domino was there. He was helping run that family for Chet. And after some pleasantries of walking in, he's sitting talking to Jimmy Brown and Danny Marino. He says, I'm going to go over and say hello to Mickey. Well, Jimmy tells him, no, don't go over. He's talking to somebody. And you know, John should have known that because he knows his father's protocol. You say hello to John, the boss, first, and then you say hello to everybody else. Even if Sammy's sitting next to him, standing next to him, he don't care if God's standing next to him. You say hello to John first. So he should have known that, but he sought the advice of Jimmy Brown. And later on, Mickey Domino sees Danny Marino and he says, what's that fucking kid? You don't want to come up and say hello? Jimmy set him right up. It looked bad.
So Jimmy was trying to make him look bad.
Yeah. And going back to the list, now we have this list going around, and the families have to approve it, right? You have to get an okay on all the people on those lists. So the West Side is being very tardy in getting back to us for whatever reason, on spite. Who knows? But let's talk in terms they did it on purpose. They wanted to wait us out, right? So I think about 3-4 weeks went by, and Junior asked Jimmy Brown. Again, there's a picture. I think this is what it was. There's an FBI took a picture of him and Jimmy Brown because he gave it to Jimmy Brown. And Jimmy Brown's got his hands like this, like submissive position. You know, it's out there. We could probably get it somewhere. It's out there. And he tells him, what's going on with the list? He says, John, if they don't answer you in 3 weeks, straighten the guys out. Well, straighten the guys out. They got a message from the West Side. What'd you just do? We didn't tell you it's okay. They made a beef. So John, I remember walking with him. He was really embarrassed with me and frustrated. Like Jimmy Brown told me to do this. So I said, John, what are you gonna do? What's going on? He says, what do they think? We're gonna kill my brother-in-law and everybody else on that list? That they didn't prove it? So Jimmy Brown set him up a couple of times, and that picture that with his hands submissively speaking to Junior was after that list incident. And there was others with Jimmy Brown. Jimmy Brown set Junior up a lot in protocol type situations.
Sounds like war games.
Yeah. Now, that's one of the things that you shared in the last pre-record that I found extremely interesting, because your position is that Jimmy Brown was playing both ends to the middle, that he might have been laying back, probably I don't want to misquote you, but are you of the position that maybe the West Side told him, sit back and let's see how this thing plays out? Right. That's a strong position to take, that he's almost he's playing the family against itself for his own gain, knowing that he's going to be supported by Chin and the Genovese'S.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be the first time those things happen like that. I give you another one. Danny Marino, when he goes away, I get his crew with Jimmy Brown and the rest of them. Like I said, I was supposed to get his crew, and I suggested to Junior, don't give it to me. You can't give me both those crews. It won't look good. And he says, I trust you. I need to watch these guys while these guys are away. I said, give me Danny's crew and give give Jimmy's crew to Pete Pacenti. So there was a little thing when Johnny G went away at that time because he was still out, and he was Danny Marino's cousin and the wise guy in his crew. So when he goes away, Louis Mariani and Billy Scotto, who I know Louis since I'm 16 years old, was hanging out with them a bit, a little too much, but at that time, that's where he decided to hang his hat, Louis. Anyway, I get all those guys again. They come back to me. And then, like I said, with Louis Mariani, Louis Black, it was a little contentiousness with him and I, and I'll explain that down the road. But he comes back into the fold. He's being extremely humble. He's not earning any money. So we get back friends, and he's Mikey's godfather. That kid right there. That's his godfather. Louis telling me about, he's giving up all the stuff about Johnny G, the contractors on the sneak, things that were going on. The stuff with the stock market stuff with Sal Romano that he never put on record, Johnny G with the family. And he starts telling me about, would go when Danny was in jail. Now, Mickey, time guy, old school guy, would go to Danny Marino's house and visit his wife on Sundays. Not every Sunday, but Sundays. We would go to that house. Now, and I brought that back to Junior. And I felt it very strange that Mickey's going to this guy's house. That's how close they were. So that was a real indication again is Mickey, like I said, he would have been on the play. He would have known everything that was going on going way back. And Junior and Mickey didn't like each other either. I mean, with the beef over Borriello, was no love made there. There was a lot of love lost if there was any kind of respect with that beef. And they brushed Junior off with the Borriello hit as far as killing Preston Geritano. Because they know Preston didn't kill him, kill Bobby. So they were trying to postpone it. Then maybe they club Junior and the whole thing goes away. Who knows? So there was a lot that Junior did have on his plate, a lot to deal with. These are some of the anecdotal stories I could tell you. The pressure that mounted on a guy who knew nothing about that life. I'm not saying he wasn't a tough guy. I ain't saying that at all. But these are real serious things when you deal with real serious people. And look at the guys he's dealing with. A guy like Mickey Domino and the other family. Jimmy Browns, the Joe Butchers, Joe O'Courys. I mean, you got to know their pedigree. You got to know their history before you even sit down with these guys. And that's what John was alluding to when he told his son, Michael knows those guys in Brooklyn. That's why John put me on the spot with Jimmy Brown and all those guys at that time. By trying to show me off in front of them. By making them show up like where you lie, where's your look at these guys? So Junior did have, it's not fair to say he wasn't capable. He just wasn't ready. He could have been very capable. The way he went about it was too official. He wasn't there yet with respect from all the guys. As far as that, you got a guy like Louis Branch, right? From the Bronx. Louis Branch was a great guy. He loved Junior. I could say that. He truly liked Junior. He was very loyal to Junior. Jackie knows, same thing. There were certain Claptons out there that liked Junior, and respected him. But then there was the other ones that said, "Who's this fucking kid?" Without them saying it, you could just see it. And there was rumblings all the time. I got to go out to Queens. I got to go out to Queens. So. And that wouldn't be directly to me. It would be hear what I hear through other people.
Do you think he knew that people in the family, that some of the captains in the family didn't take him serious or didn't respect his position or thought it wasn't hard earned, it was just given to him? And if your answer is yes, I guess my second question would be.
Well, then hold it up right there. Let me answer.
Go ahead.
Maybe he knew, but didn't want to show that. Sometimes you're weak, right? You're weak in an area, and anything you do, you can't show that weakness. So what do? You use an iron fist a little stronger. You assert your position more. I used to kid around. I used to call them iron drawers, like underwear, like Joe Frazier shorts. We call them drawers. I used to say, that guy, hey, iron drawers. I break balls. Where are you going to see? I'm going out to see iron drawers today. And we didn't have that relationship like that. We were very close. We had little moments, which I'll explain in other stories down the road. But no, I love the guy, and but it was hard after a while to speak to him in those terms because he wanted to show the family and everybody out there, other families, that he was here. Instead of asking for more help from these guys, like you said, sit down. What do you guys want? What do you think? Like with Jimmy Brown, Joe Butch. Even though they were, let's say, Jimmy was playing the game, at least he wouldn't have been that mad at him. I feel.
Yeah. And that's yeah. And that's kind of what I guess where I'm kind of going with this. Sometimes when you have enemies in the field, and you know how they're thinking, they think I'm just a kid. They think I'm the kind of guy that can't hold this together. They think I'm a lay down Sally. They think I'm the kind of guy you can just push around, but I'm not. And I have to exert dominance. I have to show I'm not backing down, no matter what. And that's what I wonder. Was his attempt to show this is the Gambino family. The boss is John Gotti Sr., and I'm his chosen representative. And when I speak for the boss. I speak for my father. And you always and you might not like it. My father's the representant. He put me here to come tell you we got to talk. You don't gotta like it. It's almost that old saying: you can disagree but commit, kind of thing.
I agree, but that doesn't mean it's the right way to go about it when you're dealing with murderers. You're dealing with criminals and murderers, and again, guys in that life, there's no protocol. The protocol is: I call you, you come. That doesn't mean it has to be done that way. That we would go meet Louis Brage at times. Patsy Conti, we would go see him at times, but Patsy Conti was never going to love him. That's for sure. But we went down to Williamsburg and in that area, Green Point. At times went to restaurants and met guys. Yeah, it wasn't all the time in Queens. It wasn't all the time in other spots that he chose. We went there, but for the most part, he asserted himself, and I think that hurt him in the long run.
So I guess now, but do you think he was aware that these old timers don't like these old timers don't approve of me? These old timers don't see my value. Do you think he was aware of that, or you think he didn't even pay attention to it?
No, I think he was. That's what I'm saying. I think he was, and he tried to make up for it by being a little more assertive and authoritative. By come out to quit. Why would you want to make him come? I mean, it's easy. Look at the picture. I mean, everybody can look at that picture and say, "What's this?" I can't see anybody saying, "Oh, that's a good thing." Little John's thinking two guys that are 150 years old combined at the time, probably. Who knows what long lineage in that life. That guy was Jimmy drove Carl around. He was his company. He was acting boss for a little while. What do you think? He's a serious guy. With no love. Don't forget, Jimmy was a cold-hearted, callous guy. He had a smile sometimes whenever he took that cigar out of his mouth. But Jimmy was a cold guy. And after he killed his adopted son, he lost his passion for young guys. You can see that Jimmy changed. He didn't like young guys anymore.
This is the credit I give to him is the easiest time period. You can correct me. You were there. I'm just an analyst from the back, but you were there during this time. But at this period, the underboss he's working with the government. I'm sorry. The consigliere is doing life. The boss is doing life. The whole administration's gone. You're at a time period that the family is the most ripe for a civil war. Family could have easily split right then and there. You saw it happen in other families when this kind of stuff happened. It happened in the Bonanos when with Joe and Matt, his underboss. You saw it in the Colombo family. It's history of it happening. You had old timers in the Gambinos that could have easily been mad. Fucking, John's on tape. He's talking too much.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't war, Jay. It was one way. But bullets in this case were going only one way. Bombs and bullets. We're only going one way. We were at war. There was discontent. There was a plot. Frankie DeCicco didn't put that bomb on him and says, I want to blow myself up today. Bobby didn't shoot himself in the driveway. Eddie Leno didn't decide to pull over the Bell Parkway and shoot himself. It was a war. Silent one on our side, active one on Gas Pipe and Chin side. Now, if Gas Pipe don't get killed, pinched, how many guys get killed? If he stays out, even on the lam. He was killing guys on the lam. He killed Tester on the lam, his own guy, to blame it on us that we did it. He sacrificed his own guy. I started a rumor we killed him. He wanted them to come full bore against them. So, no, it was a war. It was a war. Make no mistake.
Well, the war I'm talking about is there wasn't an internal civil war. And that's what I'm wondering. Was John able to keep John kept the family stayed together, didn't split, there wasn't an internal. Is that what you're referring to? Or there was
It was.
Well, if it was Jimmy
Okay, it
Brown,
was.
Okay, I'm following you now. Okay, I'm following you
if
now.
they even knew about it.
Yeah, nobody had to go out there and put guns in the club and start hunting people like the Colombo guys did the other time you war. They were sitting back, sipping espresso and eating in a nice restaurant. And everybody else was getting clipped.
It's true.
Jimmy Brown, he's being defined more now. I hear more about Jimmy Brown now than I ever heard with all the YouTube podcasts. There's people talking about him, but Jimmy Brown goes back a long way. And he was driver for Carlo, I think. But I didn't always hear a lot about him, hear more about him now. But would you say at that time, he was the most powerful captain in the family? At that time, was he the guy who?
Well, you can't. You're more experienced. It wasn't the most powerful. Nobody's running over there, or everybody gang up like they did with Sammy that time, going down Tuesday nights running to Jimmy Brown. He wasn't that way. He had his club. It was the Veterans and Friends still, and moved down the block from where we used to be. But he had his crew there, and anybody wanted to see him in the garbage business or whatever the appointments he made. But he didn't talk to them. A lot of walks. No, but it wasn't though. He wasn't the most powerful. Junior was the most powerful. It's how you look at it. See these things about who's the toughest guy, who's the most powerful guy. I don't subscribe to that. It takes one shot, and you're not the killer no more that you were. It takes one shot to say you're not the boss that you was. So it doesn't have to be the toughest guy. You didn't need Roy DeMato to go kill anybody, did you? The whole family was full of killers. Every family was full of killers. Lucchese guys. Those guys are really capable guys. They're no nonsense guys. The Chin guys, they kill somebody, you never find out who did it. The Colombos, John used to call them the Cambodians. They were always at war. They were always killing each other.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So, banana guys, they're killing 3 guys at one time. Every time Joe Massino had a bad dream like Gas Pipe, he killed somebody. They have him written off like Joe wasn't just a fat guy there was the boss. This guy was devious. He
killed a lot of people.
He killed a lot of guys. So you talk about who's the most powerful. Did those 3 captains think they were the most powerful at the time? Yeah, look what happened to them. And they were. They represented a whole faction of Manhattan. What happened to them?
Great point. It's a great point.
How about Tommy Bellotti? Was he a strong captain? Anybody want to call Tommy Bellotti a dog? Anybody want to say he wasn't a strong figure in that life? He was in that street next to Paul on the other side of the car.
I'm glad you brought up Bellotti because I talked to you personally, and there's a narrative out there on Bellotti and on Paul. They're just some Wall Street Journal reading, racketeer, banker, businessmen guys. Angelo Quack said that they're in that big White House jerking off together, but the history out there on them is that they weren't gangsters. Thomas Bilotti. Can you tell me anything about Bilotti? Like, was he just this Tommy Gambino-ish type of guy? Or was he, who was he?
Yeah, Tommy had a fearsome reputation. Him, his brother, that brother's not even brother, but Joey. These were serious guys. Very serious guys. Tommy then built his rep on being, going to work and as a deli boy when he was a kid. He was criminal his whole life. The guy ran all the unions, Asphalt Union, every other union. I mean, he was deeply involved in. And you didn't want to screw with Tommy. I told you when Joe Watts told me one time, when I think it was 85, the last list for Paul. I was supposed to be on that list again. And he comes and tells me, he says, Tommy's coming to see you. Paul's sending him. I was in Pastels at the club. Don't drink. He's going to come in there. He's going to look at how you act, how you behave. And don't drink. And if he tells you that wall's orange, it's orange. You told me.
Yeah.
That's Joe Watt saying that.
About Bilotti.
About Tommy. Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go.
Tommy was a serious guy. Would you like me to list his murders? Would you like me to list Paul's murders? Would you like me to list John Gotti's murders? Would you like me to list Tony Duck's Corrales? We could keep going. We know that's a game. Who did he kill? Well, you're gonna, like I said before, was put the book out. Everybody's going to sign the register how many guys they killed. Silly.
Yeah.
He was.
I'm in complete agreement. No, I agree, 100%.
I want you to tell Tommy Bly to go fuck himself. See what happens.
I heard, and I didn't like this because this is the problem I think with when a narrative just gets out there, it just becomes the new talking point. It's this big one out there right now. John Gotti never killed no one. Why that even needs to be discussed, I think is so damn stupid. But you get all these narratives. Paul Castellano is just a racketeer. I heard it said about you. Michael's just a racketeer. He wasn't a real gangster. And then it just becomes this new thing that everybody parrots like a damn fool. So, but I heard Sammy say on Patrick when he said, Patrick asked him, "Is it true that John Gotti never killed nobody?" Like you're trying to test Gotti's gangster. And Sammy said, "I wouldn't bet on him not being able to shoot you. He'll shoot you in a motherfucking hot minute just like that." And I was glad he said that because people viewing from the outside get to this point of view that we start thinking, oh, well, and it's just so silly to me. I completely agree with you.
Well, let me see if I can make a comparison. All right, with two people, and they both were murdered. You got Tommy Bilotti here. And you have Robert DiLeonardo here. Killed for different reasons. Now, if it wasn't about greed and it wasn't about taking stuff away from people, Robert DiLeonardo never needs to be killed. That's a travesty. This guy lost his life for some bullshit politics or power play, but not power play in the sense as being a strong figure as far as what they had. DB, like I said many times, you tell DB, go stand in the corner. He'll stand there until he pisses his pants. And no self to the God, I'm not trying to take his manhood away. I'm just trying to give a metaphor as what you could do with DB. He's not coming to kill you. He's not launching a charge and getting a crew together. Say, fuck this, I'm killing him. Maybe stand in the corner. Right? Tommy Bilotti needed to be killed with Paul. In their minds. Because they knew the loyalty he had. He was underboss for 2 weeks. So they wanted all those administrative positions anyway. But how a guy like Tommy, how strong he was in the crew he had, they didn't want to leave him out there as the underboss, where he could be elevated to boss. So he had to go with Paul because of his capabilities, how he could get guys together and maybe launch an attack. So there's two different people there that where you say, why kill Tommy then? If he was like a Robert DiLeonardo, he wasn't a tough guy.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Tommy, this is what happened. Paul's gone. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Which he might not have laid down. He might have got killed. He might have killed people. But I don't think Tommy was ever going to lay down.
Frankie DeCicco. Do you know of any? Again, you were there. Do you know of anything that had DeCicco possibly upset with Paul that caused him to disassociate with Paul and align with Gotti and to side with Gotti to move on Paul? Was anything? And I heard Sammy say, he was that Castellano was losing the respect of the captains for a series of different reasons. A lot of the captains who loved them got sick of them. But did anything happen between DeCicco and Paul that made DeCicco say, let's get rid of this guy? More than just Gotti's infractions with Castellano.
Well, not that I've heard. Doesn't mean they don't exist, but I've never heard them before or after about Frankie griping about Paul. Could happen. You listen to those tapes, he's in the basement or whatever apartment they were with Neil and Sammy, John, Angelo, Joe Gallo. He's there and Neil shoots him down. It's Sammy's words. Neil got mad at Frankie. So he probably said something disparaging about Paul. And Neil checked him. Now, could there have been a beef? Absolutely. But I never heard it. It doesn't mean it didn't exist. Were the guys discontent with him screwing his maid? You don't kill anybody over screwing their maid. Not nice. You lose respect for guys. But you don't kill them. What he was. I got to touch on this just a little bit. I watched a video about killing Eddie Garofalo. And Sammy says the Colombo guys were mad at making beefs because that Eddie Garofalo was looking at Shorty's woman, right? And she's a good-looking woman. And that everybody thought, whoever on the Colombo family, there's their beef, thought that Eddie was thinking about it. Well, you're going to start reading people's minds, how they look at somebody? Eddie was living with the woman. He might even married her. I'm not sure. But, going to this killing people for a reason, and you're going to entertain the Colombo family because you think Eddie, when he met her in his company, wanted to screw her. You kill a guy over that? You kill a human being that's with you. A guy's with me. If the guy in the Colombo family, anybody says, hey, Mike, I think that guy was thinking about screwing what's his name's wife who's dead. I would say, where's the fucking Thorazine? You got a lithium hanging around. I know a pharmacist on 18th Avenue. I'll send you there. I think you need some. You don't know what to tell you that. So these are crazy things about people, how their motives. I don't believe that from Sammy. I tell you the truth. At Colombo, if Sammy Guevara, think who he is, what he is. He's going to tell the Colombo family's going to tell him clip Eddie Garofalo because he was thinking about somebody's wife or girlfriend that was years before. He's dead years earlier. What? Sammy, he would have chased him so far, 100 miles an hour out of there. Yeah, come on, it's ridiculous. But these are the narratives that come out there hurting people. And, getting back to this whole thing, I got way off, but just getting back to this with Junior and Jimmy Brown dynamic. Well, there was other factor there. There was two families in the commission, at least, that we know that were plotting against to take down John's power circle. I went home one night. I lived on 18th Avenue, and there's the Bell Parkway there, right? I had a couple of drinks, I had a big body Benz at the time, tinted windows, and you go straight. When you get to the end, you can only make a right. And that strip is where the son of Sam killer killed the girl and shot the guy in the head. It was a block away.
Shaw Parkway.
Yeah, Shaw Parkway. It was a lover's lane. And a guy pull up a lot of times, see foggy windows closed up. Everybody's having fun if they come from a club. But this night I roll up, and these are one guys who are getting killed. He's after Bob. And I roll up, and I used to just look anyway, just to be careful. It was hard to park in my block. Sometimes I would park and there was an alleyway in the back. If I could have parked back there, I would. There's no other cars there. And Mikey can tell you this. I'm out speaking out of turn, Mikey, you tell me. If I got something. So I pull up this night and I look and I see the window go up. It was a gray car. Right? So I said, you get that little gut. It's that ain't the guy and the girl in that car. That looks like two guys. Because the windows weren't really fogged, like two people having a good time, So I put my brights on And now I'm only 150 feet from them. That's it, right? What would you say, Mike? The apartment to the street, 150 feet, maybe?
Yeah, that's it.
So I put my brights on and I roll up slow because I don't want. If there is somebody, I don't want to scare them, So I roll up slow. They jet. They take off out of the spot fast, and then when they get to Shore Park, they make a right real fast. I jump behind them now. Now the next big street, it's a pretty big avenue, is called Cropsey Avenue. I probably been doing 70 down the block, and they were flying.
They were up 17th. You went up base 17th.
Yeah. They were flying. They flew, never hit their brakes. They were doing 70, 80 miles an hour right through there.
It's hard to do it over there. It's a small block.
Whoever was sitting on me had bad intentions. Now, were they there to do something that night? If they were that night to do something to me, I wouldn't be talking right now. It would have been over. But they were probably just laying on me. I had no set time to come home, but they had to be sitting there a while with the window open. It probably did get foggy, and there's two guys hanging around just to get my routine, which I was the easy guy to get. I was all over the place. They didn't have to sit by my house. But, yeah, I'm not saying that's what's so, but why would you run like that? You blew right through a stop sign where there's traffic on Cropsey Avenue. If they would hit, there would have been an explosion. Those cars would have exploded. That's how fast they were. So your antennas are up. They still were plotting to kill people.
When Paul Castellano's dead, he's killed, completely changes the trajectory of everything. Not just the Gambino family, not just John Gotti, the whole entire 5 families of New York. So I'm just kind of curious on your opinion. You were there, you've talking to people. How adversely affected do you think that the death of Paul affected everything to do with the mob? If you could take away that one hit, is everything different? Is the whole world different if that hit never happens?
Paul's hit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Look, Paul was gonna do life. He was getting convicted with those cases. We talked about this many times. Paul was going to get convicted. The only thing you could do is throw dirt in the commission's face that you killed a boss without permission. You got nothing to gain. There's zero to gain by killing Paul. There was no attack coming on them. Paul had a case. He didn't even show. Like I said this before. He didn't even show up at Neil's wake. So he was on the spot. Paul. He knew he was in trouble. Now, would they think, which I didn't hear, that he was going to flip if he got convicted? If that was the case, they should have went to the commission and built the case up and presented it to them. Took a shot. So, and maybe then they would have got permission to clip him because they had huge exposure with Paul.
I want to take some questions from the chat. See what's going on here. Which one you said? Was the outcome of team visits? Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we had a question before my phone died, unfortunately, from Wamaga. I think that's how you say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had a good question really early on. He said about the new fist that you talked about, that didn't really get created.
Yeah.
When that new fist was going to be created, who were going to be the intended targets from the fist?
No, we never got a chance to talk.
From and who are you going to attack?
No, we never got together to talk about it. It wasn't a fist to start to go at war. It was a fist together once John's away. If anything needed to happen, these guys would get together. Somebody would be appointed to say, everybody get together.
So there was no intended target. It was just
No,
a
no.
defense.
Right.
Basic.
Right. It was just these guys that would trust each other, and in a moment's notice show up.
Interesting question here, which from Pete the Greek.
And thank you, Pete. We see that you donated $20. We appreciate it.
Thank you to Pete for his channel donation. I appreciate it. If Junior didn't get knocked down to captain, do you think he would still be in the life? Or at that point, didn't he have or did he not have the stomach for it anymore?
Well, I was there when I got they got the message back, and Richie went up to see him and told me that Junior asked, "Where do I fit in?" Now, this is part of his withdrawal case that he was laying groundwork just in case he got pitched in the future that he backed up. He was telling a lot of people, monks, whoever was up in the prison, other people, that he quit their life. He wanted nothing to do with it. So he was removing himself from the conspiracy. It was a brilliant move. Legally, brilliant. Yeah.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
When I went up to see him in Raybrook and we had a conversation, he actually told me that, we were speaking about my father and what was going on. And I told him, that my father told me they shelved him. And he actually turned around and told me they did the same thing to me. They shelved me too. And this was 2002, I want to say. So at that time, he told me he shelved.
Maybe 2003. Maybe 2003.
Maybe 2003.
2003.
He was actually shelved at that time, according to him.
It was February 2003 when you went to
I don't remember the month. It was winter, I know that. I don't remember the month.
Yeah. So where was I? Oh, where was I?
So he was shelved at the time.
Oh, well, they didn't say shelved. They didn't say shelved. That's Junior's words. He was doing that withdrawal defense for the future if he got pinched again, especially after I flipped. I'm sure he went real hard on laying that groundwork with everybody, saying he quit, which was good. It was brilliant legally, but it crushed him in the street. Would you quit? I mean, you tell everybody you quit the mob, quit the mafia. So he's laying that groundwork. Now he would have a little trouble later on when he came home with other guys that he's admitting he's quitting something. But if he don't get pinched the second time, maybe nobody knows about it. Maybe he goes right back into the life as a captain. And later on, I'm sure he would have told Uncle Pete, you better get out of the way. Because Junior gave it to Pete a lot.
Do they let him back in that easily where he just...
No, he was not wrong. If there's no case, if I don't flip and he's got no case, nobody may know about what he's doing with this rule withdrawal defense and I quit everything. Maybe it don't get brought out. Maybe he definitely don't make the profit, right? He made the profit during my term. So that never happens. So he goes back in pretty good standing. So does he want to jump back in? Who knows? But I think he was disgusted with the life. Again, his wanting to go see his father, wanting his father to let him take a plea deal. And that's why John Cena says you got to fight these guys because they're going to come case after case. If you plea out, you're never going to go home. Life on the installment plan. That's what you're. So I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic how we would have took it if there's no me, if I don't get in the case later
on. Next question's from Dave, who donates $10 to the channel. Thank you, Dave. His question is, did you know Nicky Bianco from Providence, and did you have any dealings with him? Thank you for the donation.
Yeah, thank you.
I know the name very well. I don't know him, but everybody I talk to about Nicky, or when I would hear them talking about Nicky, I should say, I never talked to anybody about Nicky. Always had glowingly things to say. Even after I flipped, I met a guy or two who spoke very well about Nicky. They all liked him.
Victor V. RJ asked Michael about Greg DePalma and the whole story about the FBI Jack Falcone case.
Rick, I was already long gone off the street when that case happened. I know some of it reading through the newspapers, and that's about it. I was off the street. I tell you what I told them. I told the agents, right, when they would team me up to testify against them, and I said, another case, I told them, why you arrested this guy? I said, what do you mean? What do you mean why we arrested him? I said, you should leave him in the street. He's one of the best agents you got. He keeps trapping everybody. Leave him out there. Everybody's still talking to this guy. Why you want to put him in jail? I'm not saying he flipped. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. What I'm saying, his mouth was so big. Junior's on tape saying to Craig DePalma, why don't you tell your father to go get a radio station? Yeah, it's on tape. I ain't making it up.
Didn't your grandfather own a radio station?
Yeah, he had a piece of it, WOV radio station in New York. Yeah, they had a piece of it. The mob had a piece of it. It's the same. They brought over all the singers in those days. But I was in the car with Junior one time. Tommy Sneaker was driving. Junior was in the right side, and we go to this is before the case exploded. The Scores case exploded, and I know Greg since a kid. Coming to the club. Greg was a Brooklyn guy originally, and if there was no tapes, he'd be one of the greatest gangsters ever. Greg DePalma. So we go there, and Junior walks out of the car, and I don't get out and say hello. Neither does Tommy. I wave. Hey, Greg, how you doing? How's everything? Well, when he got back in the car, Junior did. He ripped us. I don't understand what you know about it. Was this guy a fucking rat? I says, John, I've been telling you, this guy's got a big mouth. You shouldn't be meat with him. You remember this. He was so mad at me. And then he says, all right, come on, let's go eat. And we ate shrimp. But that's how I knew about Greg DePalma. And he had a propensity just to talk to everybody. I don't know if I said this story. I'll throw it out there anyway. He was pinched and he was home on a gambling case. And he's out. And he goes to the Bronx somewhere and he meets a cop. Got a little info, I guess. His name was Andrew. Again, this is all in transcript. This is something that I read. I didn't know about it. And at the time when I had my case, because I read all that. Take it easy. You need the Heimlich? Anybody know the Heimlich for RJ?
You know what's funny, Michael?
Well, let me finish this story. Got it.
No, but I'm going to cut you off here because Michael attacks me, jokes with me a lot on camera. What's that? Playing around.
It's just the personality, I guess.
But you know what? The viewers always don't understand that he's fucking with me.
Yeah, no, I think they know.
And I get 30 attacks. I get 30 attacks in the comment section.
You're exact. They love you. What's the matter? You get nothing but accolades.
A lot. I get a lot.
You get the most. I get the second most. He gets none.
You're right.
Right?
I get the most attacks. Yeah. He's probably a distant second. And I don't even know where you're even rank on the list. So
well, look, I suggest you take it all in good stride because everybody loves you out there. They really do. You get some tremendous accolades. You really do. Hey, listen.
You wouldn't be here today if that was.
You took the words out of my mouth, son. If it wasn't for RJ, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Thank you. I can't. You can say it for me.
Now, he runs into Andrew the cop. Andrew the cop tells him, Greg, your whole house is bugged. Don't talk in your house. Now, Greg was taking a lot of Percocets. He was a lot of pain. He took who knows how many Percocets a day, which I think really hurt him also. And his son Craig walks in. And he goes, guess who I ran into today? Who that? Andrew the cop. Know what he said? Don't talk in your house. The whole house is bugged. And he talks all day long, and then they all get pinched from those tapes. He gave the guy up right up on tape that it was Andrew the cop, and he just kept talking. Which we don't have a backyard. They don't have a backyard. The agents bugged his bedroom. They bugged everything. They knew he was just going to talk.
Yeah, they profile you. They know.
I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions, just real quick. I want to acknowledge everyone who made channel donations here.
I seen I wanted Anthony LaRocca. He's a good friend of mine. Okay. I seen he donated to us. I just want to give him a shout out and thank him.
Pete the Greek, thank you for $19.99. Yep. Santiago, thank you. $25 channel donation. Anthony, is that him right there?
LaRocca.
Anthony LaRocca. Love you, Mikey Jr.
Yeah. He's a good friend.
Good friend of his.
Carlito, thank
Gigante. You. He said $20 channel donation. Did Michael know Julie Greca and Tony Frezza of the Colombo family and why Julie was whacked in 1980? Don't got glasses on, sorry.
Yeah, Julie I did not know. Anthony Frezza, I did know. We went to high school together. Major cokehead, tough kid, but he was with the wrong group. He had no teachers. He was with the Anthony Scappy, and the Colombo crew up there with Greg Scarpa, excuse me. And
Mhm.
He was getting killed no matter what he did. But they should have killed him before he killed little Joey's father, Stymie, over zero.
Oh, that's who killed Joey's father? I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah, very, very bad. He killed the guy for zero. He was all whacked out. He was in a Green Lantern. He got thrown out of there, which is a bar in the area. Got thrown out of there. I heard some stories about what happened, before he killed Stymie. And he went there, and Stymie said something to him because he was with his girl. He came back with a gun and blasted him.
Now, what happened with that? Because Sammy tells that story, and he basically says they couldn't get to the guy. Somebody else took care of it.
Well, he ran away. From what I understand, he went on a limb. He knows what he did. And I guess the Colombo family says we're going to take care of it, which they're supposed to. It's their laundry. They clean their own laundry. And they know if Sammy would have got a hold of him, he would have been tortured. Sammy was very close with Stymie, extremely close. So Stymie was a great guy. What a good guy. He would drink by my club all the time. So that was really a travesty. Another one. The guy got killed for zero. But that's the neighborhood. That's what we grew up on. And Anthony Frezza, he was a bad, bad seed. He was going to get killed no matter what, in time.
All right, next question. Also, want to know. I did Pete the Great, Santiago again. Also got Victor donates $9.99 to the channel.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor.
Deuce.
The Deuce donates $25. I got next round, boys. Great stuff, Michael. Salute.
Thank you, Deuce.
Thank you, brother. Mike DeBella donates $50 to the channel. Thank you, Mike DeBella.
Mike.
Thank you. Carlos Harris donates $10 to the channel.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Anthony
LaRock, another $5.
Another
Anthony, you don't
$5.
have to do that. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Crazy.
David Gallant, $20 says, God bless everyone. Thank you,
Thank
David.
you.
Appreciate it. And there's another one that just came in. Oh, here's another one. Ali Shabar donates $27.99. 3 solid men. Keep it up, boys.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Next question, Michael. You mentioned that John was wary of Joe Butch. Vinny Butch seemed to be fairly close to John. Can you speak at all about the relationship between John and Vinny?
Yeah, well, of course, Vinny was a big kid. I think he was like 6'4"-ish, maybe another inch. Pretty well built. And John asked Joe if he could use his son during the course of the trial he was on. Just like to push people out of the way and give John some space. Vinny's a good kid. Good guy. Good kid. Wise guy. He probably had zero clue about that kind of dynamic going on. I'm sure they always wondered why his father was going. He always wondered. Would somebody drop their wallet? What's all that noise?
Next question, Michael. Hey, Ali, I don't see your question. Can you put it in again for me? Just retype it again now, and then I'll grab it. It'll come up first, so it'll help me find it easier. Question for Michael. Thoughts on the Ferrara hit? Do you believe John got permission from Paul for it?
Zero. No. I don't think he would have got it.
How do you feel about that hit? What would you have done in that situation?
Look, you mourn. The guy didn't mean it was an accident. I think if John had to take that back, I would hope he would say, don't do it. It was an accident. It is a terrible thing. Really, the guy's a civilian. He didn't mean it. I'm sure he had to live with that too. The pain that he killed the kid on the bike. What John should have done, Favara, that was his name, right? John Favara.
Yeah.
He should have really moved and got out of their face, knowing who and what John was, and the rep that crew had. He should have moved. Maybe if he moves, that never happens. But I don't want to put no pressure on the family because maybe there was thoughts about moving. And but yeah, it was a bad thing that would happen to that guy. Absolutely, it's an accident.
James asks, why does Sammy act like what he did was okay? Because John talked. Did the other guys put away. Hold on. Why does Sammy?
I got it. I
Okay.
know what he's saying. James, I got you. Yeah, it was that one person. He got mad at John. It was going to cost him his life in jail. You know? Yeah, he got mad at John, but everybody else, like you're saying, did nothing to Sammy. All the other people that, and like myself, same situation, that did nothing to him personally or business-wise or anything else. Look, Sammy killed a lot to protect whatever he had and to take from others. That's my opinion. Through what we're delineating now through different tapes and different all these murders, you can see that Sammy hurt a lot of people in that aspect. But as far as his thinking that I'm going to hurt a lot other people and had a conscience about it, hey, RJ showed me something where he had no conscience at all, and I was wrong. I thought Sammy would until he called it out in Sammy's book. They had no conscience. So yes, he has no conscience for anybody, in my opinion. Maybe immediate family, but anybody in the street, no.
Okay. Hey Ali, I see your question, but we're not going to talk about any names or anybody that's outside of Michael's tenure. So from 2002 forward, we kind of stay out of that. So, but thanks for the question. Thanks for being here. We do appreciate you.
Well, let me answer that. Let me answer. I've answered it before, but maybe he hasn't been in it.
All right.
I'd rather not talk about people after my tenure because it's only be a guess, and it wouldn't be fair to those people because maybe I give the lean on innocence on everybody. So for me to say this guy's that, this guy's this, wouldn't be fair to those people because maybe somebody takes me serious out there, and I don't want to be the one to do that because I don't know, and I'm never going to speculate. Thank you.
Monica.
I never to answer this question. I can answer this. I never dealt with Barney ever. Me personally, I never did.
Sammy says that all the bosses hated John Gotti Sr. and from this live, I'm getting the feeling that Junior was disliked also. How does a boss who was disliked by his family and other families continue to rule?
Well, that's the problem. They were looking to kill him. That was it. Everything takes time. I guess the hit on John was when he was in the street. Don't forget, John really took over in '86 because Paul dies in the middle of I think December 16th, 90. Excuse me, 90. And by 91, they're locked up. So from 90 to going back to 86, it's only 3 years. So he didn't have too much time on the street and too much time to get him. So, but they did get others. And being disliked, yeah. There's a lot of bosses that could be disliked because maybe they stick up for their family more, and so other families try to, push their weight around on them. That happens. And that's why there's discontent. Doesn't mean every boss loves each other, So it's a very, very hard thing to do, the balancing act of how you deal with all the other families. Because this is not a personality contest.
Yeah.
You deal with serious men on serious issues. So a lot of times you need to dig your heels in with other family. Now, what's stunning to me, and I mentioned this before, Joe Messina, after the fact, saying he didn't like John and all of that. You know what? If that's the case, John really misread him, and Junior really misread him. Joe was the closest confidant of any boss. I don't know.
Anthony Casso donates $2 to the channel. This will be our last question. And we're going to wrap it up here. Our time limit's running out. Any stories about gas pipe Casso? We do got some stuff on the channel, but Michael, answer how you want to answer.
Any stories about gas pipe? Yeah, I got one about Noel when he broke up with his daughter. They had a breakup, and just sum it up. He was looking to kill Noel. I found the 302 and Al Diaco stuff. So if anybody's got 302s from Al Diaco, that he was going to kidnap Noel, put him in the basement, and torture him. Noel had a secret about his daughter. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it right now. I can, but it's pretty long. It has a lot of people there. Sammy's involved. John's involved. Gas Pipe's involved in this story. So we'll save that for the next live where we have more time.
Yeah.
and I didn't know that. And Noel actually told me stories about gas pipe years ago and how gas pipe used to torture people. He said he used to break out the iron you, and then wake you up with smelling salt and tell you it's not over yet. So I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that before.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You want to come on? Yeah, come on. So we are going to bring on. We have all of our Patreon. We have about 10 of our patrons from Patreon that we met up with. I can't tell you.
Ajay, Patreonazi.
Patreonazi family. I'm sorry. But, guys, I want to say this because I don't want this to be. This event was so important. And Michael, you hate talking about yourself, but I'm just going to say it. This event was so important to Michael. He was up, looking up stuff. He stressed a lot about it. He really wanted this to work out. We are going to continue to go around to different cities and meet different people who are part of our family on here. And having this event, we sponsored the whole thing. We got dinner for everyone, and we had a really nice time here today. It was so nice to meet people hands-on. We are going to bring on somebody who would like to come on. Come on in. All right, come on in. Come on in.
You dropped the family jewels?
Hi, come on in. Sit right here. Okay, you don't want to ask a question? Yeah, well, just I'm gonna turn my camera off. You can sit here, Michael. I'm gonna knock the camera down in 1 second, and I'm gonna have someone come on and ask you a question. Okay? Hang on 1 second. All right, come on in. You see, there's no camera shot.
Okay, sounds good.
Go ahead.
I had to write something down. I respectfully refuse to answer the committee's questions on the grounds that it may tend to incriminate me. Sorry. Did he laugh? Oh, good, I got him. Anyway, in the last show, you mentioned that after Sammy flipped, the contractors, quote, wouldn't agree to an appointment with us. Now, that statement was shocking to me. Like, since when do they have a choice? What about the power and the fear and the muscle of the Gambino family? Thank you.
Well, that's a great question. And, we Junior and I took into consideration that these people may, if you force them, may run right to the FBI. So we picked and choose who would speak to us. There wasn't nobody spoke to us, but a lot of the guys that were on the peripheral that Sammy dealt with that might have had really been mad at Sammy. And the Gambino family may have held it against us, and maybe he went to the FBI. Of course, the FBI, don't forget, went to these contractors. Sammy told everything. Every contract. Big, small, indifferent. I mean, he told them, he gave away the game with that. So it was only a matter of time we talked before somebody would go to the agents. So we played in the glass half full or half empty. So, better to have half a glass of something than a full glass of a prison sentence. It's only going to blow up again anyway. So, good question.
Thank you. So, guys, like I was saying, I really want everyone to understand that this was actually really important to Michael. He doesn't brag about himself, but a lot of this event was fostered by him. Michael's picking up the check. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate it.
So were you? You didn't get informed?
I'm sorry?
You're putting your card up here today, brother.
I'm putting my card up, but Michael's going to reimburse me.
You put that requisition in. We'll talk about it.
We're actually charging it to the show. So the show's paying for it. But me and Michael own the show. Me, Mikey, and Mikey Jr. So the show's paying for it. So
that's it. Thank you for trying to give me the credit, but I can't take it. It's the show's paying. You, Mikey, and me.
I want everybody to understand, this isn't a cash grab for us. This is something we really wanted to put history in this in the right place, tell Michael's story, put out good, interesting content, never attack anybody, make good, positive content. The promise is always on this channel, you'll come here, you'll have a lot of fun, you'll laugh a lot, and when you leave, you're not going to feel like you just got into a fight. You'll never feel that way here. Even if someone gets mad about a perspective that we had, we're not attacking, we're just giving an opinion on something. So that's the most I can say. So I want to give a big shout out to Grana Pizza Cafe here in New Jersey. They allowed for us to come in here and use their facility. We owner's a great guy. They've been here for a long time. They might have some of the best pizza I've ever had. So if you're in the New Jersey area, please come into Grana Pizza. Have something to eat. Very clean, good wait staff, good people. I want to thank our Patrionacy family for being a part of this. And she's going to get nervous, but she's next to me. Please slide over here real quick. Slide in. So to everybody, this is my cousin, Dominique. We're family, we're cousins, but she's like my friend. We're like friends more than family. I'd probably say she is my best friend. But in the background, Dominique helps me with a lot. She helped me set all this stuff up. She's always, you got to send your aprons out. Hey, get to the post office. I'll drive them for you. I'll package them up for you. So go pick up your aprons. I'll drive over there and pick them up. So thank you, Dominique. I appreciate you.
To make sure everyone got their aprons because they paid for them. And you were taking too long.
So she was fighting me every day about aprons. So if you got your aprons late, blame me. She was the one saying, get the damn aprons out. So thank you, Dominique. I appreciate you for all the stuff you do to help me. So she's a major supporter and a great friend to me. So
thank you. Appreciate it.
So guys, like I said, we're going to do more of this. We are going to have live shows aired in different cities as we can. Michael's been meeting with some people. We're going to continue to meet with people. So thank you guys for being so supportive to our channel. We want to do different stuff. So when you see cooking shows and you see us selling aprons, come on in, Mikey Jr. Everybody's together. So when you guys see cooking shows and aprons being sold, and when you see live performances in Michael's house, this all has to do with us just trying to do something different. So that's all I got to say. I'll leave it at that. Go ahead, brother.
I want to thank everybody that sent the donations. You really don't have to do that, but we really appreciate it. And everything you send in, we give back. We sponsor people to come onto Patreon. So after today, everybody hit us up. Maybe we could do some more sponsorships. And I want to thank everybody, and I appreciate you for being here. Thank you. And I see Brian Jr., I see Rhonda in here. I hope you're doing okay, and I speak to you soon. I look forward to it.
Brian Jr. will always you're always in our thoughts. We want you to get better. There's another guy on here, John, who's going through some health things. Another good friend of the channel had a death in the family today. We're sorry. I was sorry for that. You have our full condolences. You're with us. So we're going to close this show out. Dominique, thank you for all the support that you're giving behind the scenes.
Thank you, Dominique. I know these two put everything together under the gun very fast. They did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you, brother.
You.
I really like this guy. He's a good guy. One of the nicer-hearted people that I have known. His father's a nice-hearted man, so I'm not surprised he produced a good person. So this is a big thing for us. We are very proud to have had this show today. And so thank you for being a part of it. It's to all you creators out there, it's real nice when you can touch and shake hands and take pictures with people who support your work and people who are on here watching. Michael, give me a closeout statement and close us out, brother.
Okay, I touch on whenever I speak, and you give me some questions, and the forum gives me some questions. I touch on some things a little bit. Write them down. I can expand on them. There's not that there's a time constraint, but we have given 3-hour lives. But if you want, I'll follow up with those questions. I'm not cutting you short. I just want you to know that. I'll follow up with them. And again, just to reiterate about me talking about people today, I don't think it's fair. I hope you understand that. You wouldn't want it done to you, somebody guessing something about you that may get you in trouble or get you heat or whatever. So that's my position on that. I'll talk about everything that I've done in the past. It's not a problem. I've already done it multiple times, 15 trials. So not that I'm bragging about it, but I did it, and I'm doing a little bit better now for history to put in this place. The correct guys, I see some people don't like I talk about Gravano, but when I speak about Gravano, I speak about myself because those are my times. I said this before, I say it again. I have to talk about Sammy. And when Sammy makes history. I posed this question to somebody who questioned me the other day on the comments. Why you keep talking about Sammy going after him? I says, I'm really not going after him. But should we let one person look, put Sandman aside. Anywhere in life. Let me give you an example. We were put on that. Sherman went to Atlanta. He burned Atlanta down, right? Terrible thing he did. He burned Atlanta down with the South in the Civil War. Now, if they wrote if Sherman ever wrote a book that says he never burned Atlanta down, and that became history, shouldn't the people that lived in Atlanta come with a different story? Say, yeah, you burned Atlanta down. Yeah, you did. So should we let it stay that whatever Gravano says is history and fact? Should he be the author of all of these murders and how they transpired? No, I can't let that go. I'll give you my opinion because it's not fair to the families. They need to know another story. And then you decide, like we always say on this channel, that it's up to you to decide which one's the correct one. So we love to interact. I wish I could have been there today. I can't. As Sammy says, I live in Florida. So if there's anybody that don't know, Sammy, thank you very much. But to all the patronizing family, thank you so much. Thank you for joining in and being interactive with us. We have St. Joseph's coming up for all the Josephs around San Jose.
Closing out now. We're closing out. Richard Gerard's here. He says thank you. He loved it. So yes. Guys, ownership's pushing me.
All right, God bless. Take care.
That's what I'm filling up. This is what we do on No Excuses. We deliver new content with everybody in here. Michael, great idea. It went well. I was nervous. I couldn't even sleep last night, but it went well. I love you, brother. You're a good human being. I appreciate you. And guys, join our Patreon. Thank you to you two for the continuous support. We appreciate you guys. And I'm closing out. Michael, say bye to everybody.
God bless. Be safe.
Peace and love.
Bye-bye.